what they've been drafting. I think maybe they could have gone to Curse. That's something that they've picked before, but I actually, I trust in Tempo and their decision to pick first pick and forego. Maybe this is where we'll see them have the higher Jaina priority from the first pick spot.
Well, if you're looking for Tempo Storm to make the recovery in chat, hashtag that mid-season magic, because they need it right now. Dignitas is one game away from that lower bracket final.
Tempo Storm banning out the Dahaka themselves.
Yeah.
Galau is about to do something interesting.
Well, we've showcased what he can do on a Blaze as well as a Sonya. I feel like his hero pool has been quite small in that one regard, but we can't forget that Wooby is an absolute beast when it comes to Dahaka. The interesting point before I jump to you there, Claris, is the fact that, you know, this is Tempo Storm going for the first pick this time. We've seen him go for map priority after map priority, but this time I'm like, no, we need to try and get something secured in right away.
Don't you think it's first pick Blaze then for them and go for the bunker?
I personally think so, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that it's enough that they feel like they need more from their first 3 picks, that they need to get something out before the secondary bans come in. Dignitas were willing to pick Jaina here. Jaina was huge in the last game, and I don't know for sure that that's going to be it for Tempo Storm, but it's possible, but I do think it's going to be Blaze given that Dahaka ban.
No, it's Abathur.
Or Abba, good map.
Or...
Fantastic map, and that really does explain the Dahaka ban here. But this unfortunately does still give Blaze over to Dignitas, which means not only will Dahaka not be hunting down Abathur, it will mean he's not available to try and lane against the Blaze as Tempo Storm has done repeatedly, meaning they're going to have to fall down to perhaps a Sonya, perhaps a Leoric, something like that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but an Abathur choice here on Towers of Doom means that they want to take control of that early game and then snowball it from there. Because if they don't, it can be a little bit dicey in the later game if they don't get that, surely.
Right, you fall behind in the core health, which then forces you to play and take more risky trades, but then you do have the advantage of Abathur later on. But honestly, we have seen so much and so different play from Abathur this tournament regionally that I don't think we can say for sure what Tempo Storm want out of this Abathur until we get further on in the draft. We've even had solo support Abathur, guys. It's a new age, a new era of Abathur, but that's a great deny.
The question I was running through my mind right there is, are they going to look to try and pick up a early Johanna, or that, or the Garrosh? Because you're seeing what Tempo Storm have so far with that Abathur. They're looking for that very strong early game, and they're looking for heroes that can skirmish quite well. For me, the one big thing that comes to mind is that Trace, the ability to try and dart around the map. Either that or a Zeratul, some way to try and manipulate all 3 bell towers or all 3 altars for, to really try and accentuate their early game lead.
I'd love old school double Jaina, personally.
I mean,
that would be
for
lovely.
Hail Mary.
That would be absolutely lovely for Tempo Storm here. They've been looking for this Jaina basically the entire tournament, and it keeps getting stolen or banned out. So I would not mind that at all. And of course, they could even still go with the Garrosh. Maybe use that Jaina as follow-up damage if they want to go for the Garrosh style. Otherwise, might be nice to pick up something else that can interrupt the altars, or even prioritize something for June, as neither team has support yet and the next ban phase is coming up. Have a look here. I do like what Dignitas are doing, by the way. So we do see a June and we see a Garrosh, not the Jaina. But I like what Dignitas are doing, by the way, where they are taking away heroes that can be good Abathur copies. The Genji being prioritized in that first station. They've been prioritizing it anyway, but the fact they chose that over something else that might not be as effective as a Abathur copy, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them ban something along those lines now, of course, like the Jaina.
Look, I like the Kerosene for the sole reason that they have the Abathur already. We know what it means where you can skirmish, and it is a very skirmish-heavy support. But it leaves a lot left to be desired, right? Picking out that early on to suggest that, look, Dignitas, you're going to come at us with some aggression. We're going to put all our eggs into the basket of we're going to have this Divine Palm ready to go. It has such a short radius, right? You have to be pretty much touching that person to make sure it goes off, as opposed to an Uther, which does the same principle to some degree without the DPS. But I feel like Dignitas had to be quite chuffed for this one.
The Karazim seems natural for me if they're trying to hide something. Heads up,
so
Dignitas, yes. But the Garrosh, to me, is more the interesting pick. Generally, you would expect a different kind of tank. Arthas can be a really good clone. Muradin, a good hat target. Tyrael, too. Garrosh, though, is interesting, but later on you can give him speed boost. The Adrenaline boost is 16, potentially trying to give him a better positioning. And of course, he could tank just a ton of damage, which has been something that has been very important to Cattle at this tournament.
So for anybody who's just kind of tuning in for the playoff stages and may have not seen the group stages, can someone elaborate to me why the Valera ban may have come in here for this?
Because it just kind of murders when it has been brought in. We saw it on Sky Temple earlier on in the group stages, and it literally one-shot tanks That is how strong and effective it was.
We've seen compositions run where you have no support and you have the Abathur, which has that weak early game because you're lacking that body. The Valera with the hat on top is able just to jump on in, find that silence, kill pretty much any target, and be so frustrating to deal with. So it's an interesting strategy, and it looks to me as if Dignitas have done their homework and saying we're going to prevent any kind of cheese coming out here to prevent a double reverse sweep from a team of Tempo Storm.
Tempo have given up a lot to get to these final 2 picks. There is a Jaina Genji with a bunker for safety and Divine Shield for the Genji as well. So now these last 2 picks, something to make the Abathur make sense.
The Divine Shield is a pain. The Uther pointing click stun is a pain, as I was honestly leaning towards a Zeratul personally, thinking that could have been the tool they could use. We've seen double Zeratul earlier in the tournament. I thought that would have been pretty impressive, but now there's Bunker, there's Ice Block potentially for Jaina later on, and Uther point and click stuns, Divine Shield's armor. All of this stuff becomes problems for a Zeratul, so I'm kind of moving away from it a bit.
I mean, I'm not unopposed to the Zeratul. I feel like it's hard to say. You're going to be very melee focused, and I feel like the Blaze would shut a lot of that down, but I feel like the Zeratul, we've seen it in the past, how much it can do to try and negate these big cooldowns, such as a Divine Shield, such as a Bunker. If they can find the coordination to get the kills, which they're clearly trying to set up with a Karazim
Sonya for sure.
and a Garrosh.
And Phoenix, I mean, Abathur mines. If they go for a mine build, then there are plenty of slows. Other than that, we are very reliant on Garrosh here for setting up for Phoenix, and of course, Phoenix himself. The question is their comp actually enough to protect Phoenix from Genji? We've already seen that kind of matchup become a problem for the Phoenix. So now Dignitas, they need a main tank. Something to, I wouldn't actually mind an ETC here, something for a little bit of disengage, as Tempo Storm, as you already mentioned, Skimmy, they're going to want to skirmish, so being able to move away from that skirmish could be pretty useful. Otherwise, Muradin, someone who can dance out of that skirmish and regen up, could be nice.
The funny thing is if they went ETC, they barely even need the mosh pit into the thing, because there's not that many interrupts for it, so that'd be kind of crazy.
I mean, I'm not unopposed to Stitches again, personally. You got the Stitches with the hook for the Uther, you got the one-shot combination, jet propulsion, pretty much everything there. You're going to try and isolate or take down what Tempo Storm are trying to do, which is come at you with also some gun power.
There is Into the Fray, though. It's a bit more of a survivable. And then you have Divine Palm, which June showed prowess on the last game. So is it a gold-fashioned Muradin? No, a new Barak.
Very sensible here. What we have here is a composition with usually one less body, and then with Ultimate Evolution coming in as well. If you can consistently make that fight a 4 versus 5, including the Ultimate Evolution, then you're going to remove a lot of that value that Abathur can actually offer.
Right.
Or Cocoon the Karazim, and then you have no palm for the target.
That does hurt as well. Skimmy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like whatever it was going to be in that final spot for JP, it was going to find some belly to try and isolate. This does the exact same thing as what my prediction was for the Stitches, of just trying to find a target, get a kill.
Prediction?
Dignitas all the way.
Wow. Wait a minute. I think this is...
Tempo Storm.
Okay, there you go.
I was thinking of going for Tempo Storm, but I'm not going to. I actually think that the draft of Dignitas, the Anubarak kind of sealed it for me. If it was Stitches, I'm actually not so sure. Even in ETC, I would have struggled, but I am going to stick with Dignitas here.
The funny thing is that I'm slightly skeptical of the Anubarak, but I still have to go Dignitas. So that's going to be the 3-for-1. Let's see if the legit boss over here can win out on here.
There can only be one legit boss on this desk, please.
I guess so. 74% of them disagree, but we'll have that 26%, of course. Still with a little bit of faith here into Tempo Storm, and of course, we're still hoping for that mid-season magic to prolong out this series and see if Tempo Storm can make the full recovery. Let's head over to the commentary team here as we see what their thoughts are going into the game.
Do I not understand the joke? Why does Gilly's glasses say legit loss on them?
Oh my.
Gilly, I love you. I'm sorry I didn't mean that.
I'm sorry, you can't read some glasses, buddy, but don't worry, you'll be understanding.
Reading is difficult. It is on me. I'm sorry.
Hide.
I'm getting out of the blast zone. So you guys take it away.
Well, let's go to Towers of Doom here, and we'll see if there's going to be a chance here for Tempo Storm to get a victory. Caldor, what do you think?
I think that Blaze has won the last 8 games where he was played in, so I think the chances of Dignitas are actually pretty good at this point. Blaze is just dominating in the playoffs. And Dignitas is trying to continue doing that with him. But first of all, to the left side, trying to start another reverse sweep is Fan on Abathur, June on Karazim. We have Caterpillar on Garrosh. Once again, Glorang on Sonya, Psalm on Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, Tempo Storm. not a lot of enthusiasm for the North Americans here in Europe.
Let's get a little bit of enthusiasm. They've had a long road here. Come on, guys. Tempo Storm here. Putting it off against Dignitas as Snitch be playing Genji, Webby on Blaze, Poik on Jaina, Zaylia on Uther, and JPL on Ubrak. It's Team Dignitas.
And already Tempo Storm in the mid lane here, looking for that first kill. We know how dominant Caterpillar can be on Garrosh, and now he has an Abathur as well. But as I said before, Blaze currently is on an 8-game winning streak, and his track record in the playoffs is absolutely outstanding. And Dignitas, they have the bunker available once again, but that's not the only thing. They go in with a Nuburak, they go for Cattle, they nearly get the kill, but it's a Nuburak, it's JPL who falls first.
And Tempo Storm is fighting back. Immediate kill, looking at Snitch as well. He's able to get on out, but Tempo Storm with the first blood, they are not going down without a fight.
That was a really nice start here by Tempo Storm. It was Dignitas who engaged into that fight, but the turnaround here was fantastic. And Caterpillar lived, JPL squashed like a bug there, and that's the first blood for the game.
Squish as Dignitas gets picked off there. Tempo Storm turns around and looks at Sappers as well. Sonya was there as well, just in case if Dignitas did come in for an invade, but I like this follow-up from Tempo Storm. They have always been about the mercenary camps. Every single match we've seen in the group stages, their timings have been impeccable, and immediately they grab those Sappers. Dignitas just now starting theirs, and we'll see if Tempo Storm intends to get aggressive.
Millie was worried earlier when she saw the map, and she assumed originally that Tempo Storm chose it, but it was Dignitas, and for very good reason. Dignitas in Europe is on a 6-0 streak on this map, so they have been extremely successful throughout the season. But here, hold your horses. It's Cattle who is trying to make that play again. The engage against him was good, put a lot of hit points down, but he's still looking for the turnaround attempt and that quick flip over the wall.
Dignitas, however, has great wave clear, and they clear up these Sappers almost instantly here as JPL will help finish that second one. Third one still floating around as Dignitas looking to get their own Sappers on the side of Tempo Storm. 3 members already doing their best to hold off, but with Sonya in the top lane trying to take away Sappers and pushing the top, Tempo Storm may have to forfeit some turrets.
That definitely puts some pressure on the Blaze, and Wui is an awkward spot because he wants to fight that one-on-one versus Sonya. The problem is that Abathur is always that one hero that offsets everything, especially the solo lane. So whenever Wui is going to engage into a fight with Sonya and tries to trade, Abathur is going to be there with a symbiote, and that's going to be extremely awkward for Dignitas player. So in this case, he just has to sit tight, has to soak the experience, and can't really push this out.
So far he's done so, and he goes to the top lane to keep soaking there as well. Snitch is going to head over here and try and put a little bit of harassment on Glaurung, but with Mines revealing where he's at, he's going to go ahead and back on up and look towards the altar phase. They'll be spawning in about 15 seconds. It's the 3 altar phase will begin for our teams. You might see Abathur try to come in and poke and grab one, but Dignitas will definitely be keeping an eye out for that, and we can see Snitch try to get a warm.
Triple altar now with their bot lane, the focus. We have up to the top also, of course, Abathur, who can again help out with that, going full into the Carapace build here, as June is already starting the channel. Interrupts are happening, but Abathur is slugging it out, starting the channel himself, but Blaze is on his way. Sonya deters that attack though, and Poik is now going for the second altar, trying to grab the one at the bottom.
Blaze able to get the interruption, and with Genji here too, Dignitas is looking to grab a couple of these altars, maybe all 3. Gonna go ahead and delay a little bit here. Okay, so they're not gonna go for all 3, they're just gonna buy some time. Snitch doing a little bit of harassment, but Dignitas immediately runs to the bottom lane and starts to push it on in, which requires Phoenix to come down and defend.
First mission accomplished, not going to be a 40-0 this time.
Yeah, Tempo Storm holding on here, as it's going to be a score of 32 to 36. The experience pretty close here, but Dignitas starting to feel ahead, especially if they can get a pick here on Glaurung, and they get it.
Dignitas is hungry, and they get a Glaurung sandwich. Aggression from every angle. No chance of moving out there, and Sonya goes down. Now, Dignitas has that 2-0 lead, but again, we talked about this. Tempo Storm played such a fantastic tournament. I think they can definitely do more than they showed in this series so far. They played against Ballistics over and over again and took Ballistics down. But against Dignitas here, they are struggling. But they have the tools. They just need that opening. They need that moment where they can take a bit of momentum and carry that into the mid game and maybe even take down the bell tower here to take map control.
That moment might be coming until 10, or be at 10. Right now, it's all about weathering the storm, and Mule will help out. That was after picking that up at the level 7, so should be able to slow down that fort in the bottom left that Dignitas is currently trying to focus, but Dignitas is trying to make a play for it. They've got 3 sappers already, the group pick up in the bottom lane. They want to make sure that Tempo Storm was unable to fully get to full health, but Tempo Storm has a different plan. Glaurung's down here to help defend.
Yeah, he is, and that leaves Blaze alone at the top. He's rotating between mid and top. And that means that right now the experience is actually going to start to tickle in for Dignitas. Tempo Storm will have to rotate someone back to grab it. Abathur can only do that for so long, but now we have the altars spawning at the top lane, and that will force rotations one way or another.
Gonna be 2 altars. Already, we have Cattle coming over and slowing down JPL. He's able to mount up though and start heading up. 10 more seconds until we have those altars up. Dignitas should be able to get there in time, but Tempo Storm should be able to do the same on their side as well. And here it is. Both altars should be a 1-for-1, which is a typical trade you see.
Already Blaze at the top here, looking at Sonya, thinking about the camp as well. But yeah, it's going to be that trade. Nobody really has anything to gain from attacking aggressively into this. Tempo Storm in particular is completely happy to just draw this out a bit longer so that they get their level 10 for Abathur and can finally rely onto the copy. But as we heard from the panel before, Dignitas, they have tools against that, especially Cocoon is going to be one of those.
Poison Spear picked up for Sonya at level 7, so looking for that upfront damage that we've seen from a lot of Sonyas. We've been seeing some different builds here and there to get a little bit more sustain through, or at least survivability, but that does not be the case here for Sonya. Dignitas sets up another gank on Cattle, but Cattle able to get away as June's providing the heals. That was a close one.
Yeah, this on-point aggression from Dignitas is really scary. This is how they blew up Glorong a bit early on as Sonya, and now they go for Garrosh right away. And every time they have that opening, with Wubi finding the jet propulsion, becomes scary. Poik has so much burst damage on Jaina that it nearly can one-shot most of the heroes on the side of Tempo Storm. And then if you add the rest, that's nearly a kill there. Guaranteed one at that. Caterpillar is experiencing that firsthand as we speak. He goes down, and that is the second kill for Dignitas in this game.
Dignitas hitting 10, using Cocoon there as well to get the pick. But I gotta note, every time we've seen Dignitas group up as 4 and try to go for a pick, Glorong has done his best to grab the sappers. He gets them in the top lane, so he'll be able to have that starting to push on in. But Dignitas was able to defend with Wubby doing his best to clear it out. Tempo Storm once again comes in and grabs their sappers too. So they'll have bottom pushing as 2 ultras spawn, one in the middle and one in the bottom.
Dignitas goes for the map control, and Tempo Storm is now sitting there trying to defend the bottom. They know the 2 altars are activating soon, so they can't lose that bell tower. That is literally one of the last remaining points where they can retreat to if the altars spawn, and here they are about to lose it, and that's exactly what happens. They want to go for the kill instead, and they're trying to step inside against Wubby. That doesn't do too much. Wubby has the bunker available right now. He's trying to go for a jet propulsion here. They are just slicing away at Tempo Storm. Garrosh falls, and Snitch is trying to look for a double kill.
The bunker comes out, and Psalm will be the focus, and there's a pickup. 2 going down for Tempo Storm, but Tempo Storm, they bite back. They get Genji picked off.
Cocoon, on the other hand, has also been utilized, and that is one of the moments when especially JPL could set up another kill, and they do exactly that. The stun comes out, Uther with a first kill, and then we have them on a kill count of 5-2-2. Absolutely dominant performance here. The bell tower has been grabbed, both of the altars are being channeled. That's another 10 points off the core of Tempo Storm.
That's a big swing in the game, going straight over to Dignitas. Shots coming out, as you mentioned, taking a lead in experience too as they go up a full level over their opponent. Sonya, after realizing that members are falling for Tempo Storm, only had one thing to do, and she ran straight to the top lane and cleared out a turret so she could at least get experience.
It's not only that burst damage that we have from Poik, it's that CC that Dignitas feels into this game. Inuburak, the Cocoon, he has the burrow charge. That's the first stun. And going straight in also into Uther, who can follow it up. We have seen all these engages with the jet propulsion. And all of these things, they just set up Jaina. And then you still have to contest Snitch as well, who's just sitting there, waiting for an opportunity to come in for the final blow, get the reset, and just spiral it. And Tempo Storm is in such an awkward position trying to stop that.
Tempo Storm still being in position to try and clear out this altar, groups up, but look at Poik. He walks over and drops the Blizzard. You were talking about this. The wave clear is too hard for Tempo to deal with. Glorong in the front line taking a lot of damage. As well have Cattle come up here and throw him aside to keep him alive, but he takes damage himself as he goes for into the kill zone. And this is looking very, very similar to Gen G versus Tempest, where you have the entire team of Tempo Storm back in the kill zone trying to defend.
Absolutely, and normally I'm just a huge fan of Ring of Frost and the burst that it brings you, but the problem is Dignitas doesn't need more burst. They have all the burst that they want, and at the same time now they are speccing into Water Elemental as an alternative, because with this melee-heavy setup with Karazim at the front too, they can always control the onslaught of Tempo Storm, and we saw it on Sonya. She goes in for a spear, is immediately slowed, and Glorong suffered 50% of his hit points just dropping in the attempt to escape.
I'm looking over at Karazim. I feel like he's one of the ways that we're going to have a way for Tempo Storm to get back in this match as they move towards level 13, level 16, being able to get that cleanse to come online and try and make sure that if Wubby comes in with a jet propulsion and cleanse it out, but we are still 3 levels away from that.
But even a one-shot could maybe be possible yet. Nice Divine Shield, making sure that they can secure another 5 shots against the core. Really well done here. That's something we oftentimes see only towards the end of the game, but in this position, with also the slight advantage that they had, it was a fantastic move. Even now the mercenary camp going through the bot lane, Tempo Storm is suffering.
And that's the play you also want to have against Abathur too. You don't want to delay, wait around, let Abathur soak, try to get back in the game there. You want to get that altar as quick as possible, so Divine Shield makes sense. Here comes Water Elemental. Cattle will be the focus. Cattle takes some damage, and he gets taken out. Galarong will be the second pickup too, as Dignitas is chasing for more.
They're collapsing on Storm, and they get Phoenix. It's a triple kill as they move in and show absolutely no mercy. Fan is losing the copy at this point. Jaina at least completing the quest, but right now we have Dignitas moving straight for that boss. Tempo Storm, they're looking for opportunities, they're looking for kills. A flip through Garrosh, maybe to a 7-sided, could get them a kill, but it just doesn't happen. And Dignitas is ruling the map with an iron fist, dropping the boss and dropping Tempo Storm into the single digits.
Tempo Storm has been on a long road here to this tournament, but they are this close to it becoming a stop sign for them, as Dignitas has found many moments to clean them up. Tempo Storm needs to kick it into high gear if they want to stay on this highway and get up in this series. Tempo Storm is in a position where they at least are close in talents, but it's a 3 altar phase.
They still have the talent fights, and they need to start a comeback now. It's already such a difficult task for them to go for another reverse sweep, but this is their last game if they lose, and they lose Phoenix in another fight as Dignitas goes in. Snitch with the Divine Shield just moves through them and mows them down. Down goes Sonya. They're trying to go for the triple kill. The stuns are coming from Dignitas on every single hero. So much CC as Garrosh gets locked down and falls as well.
Dignitas with a complete lockdown moves straight to the ult at the top left and the top right. That would be a total of 8 shots if they can grab them both, and that will earn them the victory over Tempo Storm. Kerosene comes in for one last-ditch attempt, but Dignitas is able to grab the 3-0 over the North American team, Tempo Storm.
Fantastic game by Dignitas.